Grid. Good night, guys.
There you go. That's the way to execute.
Thank
That
you.
was nice. I set you up. Nice alley-oop.
Good pause, good
Aditi, I
pause.
hope your softball game this weekend was executed as properly as me and Bull just did that ad read.
No.
I have to be honest, I grounded out twice. I mean, I made solid contact. I didn't have any errors in the field.
Okay.
Bud Dupree saved me on one. Bud Dupree was playing first base. I played second. One of my grounders I threw a little bit. One of the grounders I fielded, I threw a little bit high. But Bud Dupree saved me.
You look like a child in that picture.
I need video of
Oh,
this,
my
Aditi.
goodness. You're
I mean,
about-
like, let's be honest, though. Not only is Adam Shearer the biggest guy on the field, he's like the biggest person on the planet.
He's huge.
Does that not look intense right there? Like, that's a pretty good,
Yeah, you look
stance.
good. I mean, putting
Squared
the ball in
up.
play is a good job. When's the last time you played softball?
Okay. So can I, 15 years, 20 years?
Yeah, that's
something?
good putting in play. That's not
I'll
bad.
tell you, there were three women in the game. The other two were professional wrestlers. And I actually feel, I said this to my husband, I said, I think that I was actually the best one out there. And he
Nice.
said, you probably were.
So
yeah.
can we take that shot again of her at first base, the last one that we had up? I have a question for you, Didi. Were you on the home team that had 14, or were you on the visiting team that had 4?
No, this is immediately after I made the last out. And let me tell you, I just sent video of this. And let me tell you, can I tell you how this went down, actually? So there was Team Berg, which was all Steelers. I mean, fully loaded. We're talking Najee Harris, Mitch Trubisky, Kenny Pickett, Alex Highsmith, Cam Hayward. They're all on that team. Then I was on Team World. And Jalen Rose, who's a lovely human, but maybe a little bit on the older side. Deion Lewis, who you all remember from Cleveland, also lovely and played excellent at shortstop. I mean, he just chased down everything, but didn't put the ball in play. He was 0 for 2. I think he fouled out once. And yes, Deion
So
Lewis
the fix was
on,
in for Pittsburgh to win.
yeah, clearly.
Well-
and then they also had a fungo bat. Like they had a special juiced up bat.
What?
But anyway, that
They
last
cheated?
play-
A fungo
so
bat.
that last one, I'm
Well,
up
that's
for
all
the
right.
second time.
Ben
2 outs.
Roethlisberger had a fungo brain for 15 years.
All right, so it's 2 outs. It was
Yeah.
a 5-inning game. 2 outs, top of the 5th. We're down, whatever, 14-3, whatever the score was. And I come up to bat. I hit the ball to Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett, who I love, does me the biggest solid, throws a circus throw behind his back to Cam Hayward, trying to help me out. And can I tell you, heartless Cam Hayward catches the ball and races to first base to get me out. So that was me being
Basic
like, really?
Ohio State way. Now,
I mean,
We need video of that. We really do need
I
video.
I wish he would have pulled up with a hamstring or something. Can't play.
Serves him right.
8 weeks.
on my
my
team.
Buckeyes, man.
Speaking of Ohio State, the wonderful, great Malcolm Jenkins,
No, we do.
who's doing some really interesting things right now. It was a lot of fun, guys. It was really,
We take
really.
everything serious.
Aditi, were there any decent quarterbacks that played in this game?
You jerk.
Oh, you are so cold. You are so vicious.
Who was the best
Let me
player?
tell you.
Oh, that's
Let me
mean.
tell you, right now, with all the uncertainty surrounding Deshaun Watson,
Yeah.
you don't think you would feel safer with Mitch Trubisky and Kenny Pickett than you do with Jacoby Brissett?
That's a good segue.
I'd take either one.
Yeah, but that's only for a short period of time. Then eventually I have Deshaun Watson, and he's a zillion
Is
times
it a
better than
short
those
period
guys.
of time? Is it a short period of time?
I didn't know
Do we
Kenny
know?
Pickett was that live.
I mean, at worst, it's going to be a season. At worst, but then for the next then for the next 5 seasons, I'll still have Watson.
I know, but this is a what have you done for me lately league. I mean, all we care about at the current moment is this season, right? Isn't
That's
that
it.
all we care about right now?
The biggest game is the next game.
What's the Steelers can't win the Super
Exactly.
No, because if Deshaun Watson doesn't play this year, then the Browns can't win the Super Bowl and the Steelers can't win the Super Bowl. If Deshaun Watson plays, well, the Steelers can't win the Super Bowl. There's no chance.
Wait,
Okay.
Sexy Rexy took the Bears to the Super Bowl. Trent Dilfer won a Super Bowl. You don't think that,
That
an
was a zillion
amazing
years ago when it was.
strong run game?
You can't win that way
you don't think
anymore.
That still works. You don't think it works that way anymore?
Can't
at
win
all?
that way anymore. I don't think. Unless I'm proven otherwise, I don't think you could win with an average or worse quarterback anymore. You have to have I think you got to have a top 10 quarterback to win.
Can I tell you guys, it's a little bit difficult to debate Adam while he's wearing that shirt.
You love my
Well,
shirt, right?
You,
Trust me, we've learned that this morning. Yeah,
I mean, it's like very distracting. It's a brilliant shirt.
It's
like, there
okay.
you go. You
If
sort
you
of feel
disagree
like
with
you're
me,
stepping
I
on a
can't force you to
landmine.
be right. Yeah.
Hey, who was the best player at the softball game?
Kenny Pickett hit a home run. Mitch Trubisky hit the ball really well, too. I will say that. Cam played a very good first base. Nothing got by him. All the throws. And obviously, Adam Scherer, as you see, is like the hugest man I've ever seen in my life. He rocketed a ball out of the park. He was the only one that did that. They set up cones. Gene Steratore. Yeah, I mean, I'm a little person, but I'm not that little. Like, there's muscle on me.
I'm surprised you let me play myself.
I look like a fifth grader. I really look like a fifth grader. I sent Mikey a picture. I sent Mikey a picture.
It'll be up. Don't worry, Aditi. We got it. Don't worry.
Oh, where I'm standing on the chair next to him, and
Yeah, it's a great picture.
And she's still shorter than he is?
Oh, yeah. You'll see it in a second.
Now, Didi, I got this question. We talked about
right.
the quarterback comparisons with the Browns, right? Browns and Steelers, and I'll give you that. I would be more comfortable with Kenny Pickett or Mitch Trubisky if Deshaun Watson isn't here. But I'll ask you to think of it this way, and see how you feel the rosters compare if you change one thing. If you changed coaches and Mike Tomlin was coaching the Browns and Kevin Stefanski was coaching the Steelers, what record would the Browns have? If
Too many variables.
Gee, I have to be honest with you. I think that's a little disrespectful to Kevin Stefanski. It's also a little disrespectful to Mike Tomlin, right? You're comparing a guy who's in, his third year as a head coach to a man who's won a Super Bowl and done it longer than just about anybody in the league but Bill Belichick. Who's got more seniority than Mike Tomlin?
Well,
I think he's even got a year on John Harbaugh, right? Mm-hmm. I think that the best teams are in the image of their coaches, that they match their coaches' personalities. And what I would say is that the Steelers very much fit Mike Tomlin's personality. And as I see it, the Browns fit Kevin Stefanski's personality. And so I don't know. I don't mean to say that let's just take Mike Tomlin, that his style is not transferable, but I don't know that he constructs the same roster if he's leading the Browns as Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry do. So I don't know that that's an easy swap. I think it's easier for me to sit here and say, okay, well, right now I like the Browns offensive line more than I do the Steelers offensive line. That's because I don't know much about the Steelers line just yet. They've completely rebuilt it. Let's see how they gel and let's see how good these guys are. At the moment, as much as I like Najee Harris as a person, and quick little aside, I think you all know that my son has been a diehard Bills fan since he was 2 years old. He was wearing his Bills hat in my dugout, and Najee Harris walks over and spends 10 minutes asking him, what can we do to change your mind? He asks him about his Bills fandom. He asks him about his favorite player. Nico told him why number 17, Josh Allen, is his favorite player. And Najee at one point turns to me and he says, the kid makes a lot of good points. But anyway, to that point, I think Najee is great. He's got wonderful personality. I think that he did more with less last year. I mean, that line, he got hit behind the line of scrimmage more than anybody a year ago. So it's hard to compare him to Nick Chubb, but I think everybody knows how much I love Nick Chubb, and I would happily give Nick Chubb the ball on every play if I thought he could hold up that way. I just think that it's easier to sort of say, okay, I like the Steelers wide receiver room a little bit more than I do the Browns right now. I like the Browns O-line a little bit more than I like the Steelers O-line. I think the coaches is just a little bit too hard because of the experience disparity. And again, because of
the roster construction is a great point. I mean, obviously, they have different philosophies. They build their teams in different ways. You hope that the front office works. Oh, that's a thing of beauty. What are you, 6 foot on that chair?
Not even. I mean, I'm leaning to try to get there. How about that? I'm standing on a little collapsible folding chair with my daughter. What if that thing had broken?
Yeah, that would have been bad.
They'd have caught you.
You're in good hands. If it broke, you were in very good hands. You probably never hit the ground.
That is the fabulous Paul Zeiss, who I have known for, I don't know, almost 20 years at this point. We used to cover women's basketball in the Big East. He was at the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. I was at the Bergen Record in New Jersey. And we spent an amazing Final Four in Cleveland together.
Look at that.
1 year. Do you remember that? Do you remember when Cleveland hosted the women's Final Four?
Yes, we do.
I do, yeah.
It was big here.
Yeah, it was a tremendous Final Four, in fact. Yeah, so he was my manager. He's the one that put me at second base, batted me eighth. I don't know why he batted me eighth. I think it's a little bit of an insult, but
You're at least a
Anyway.
six-hitter. At least a six-hitter.
You'd like to think,
Yeah.
although I shouldn't be talking so much smack. As I said, I grounded out twice. So.
Hey, Aditi, we were talking earlier. I think we're officially in the neighborhood now of being on Deshaun Watson watch. I get the sense that this could come literally any second now. Are you looking at it the same way?
I think that that's fair. We know that the briefs were in a week ago. I think this week, next week, I think the Texans settlement, while not necessarily something that plays into what Sue Robinson decides, is ultimately probably a good thing for Deshaun Watson. I mean, imagine if those 30 cases had gone to trial and Deshaun Watson had to be deposed 30 times and deal with, could the Texans have attached him as a defendant in some way, or could the Texans have tried to pin the blame on him in some way? All of those things are sort of taken care of now, in the sense that the Texans went ahead and settled with these 30 accusers. So I think you're right. I think any moment now, this week, next week, really at the latest, I would think, do we know what Deshaun Watson's fate for this season is?
Yeah,
Actually, you know what? That's not true. I think Sue Robinson gives us a judgment, but then what if the league appeals to the commissioner? I wish I knew the answer to this, and I'm sorry I don't. I don't know how much time the commissioner has to decide the appeal.
Right, yeah. On the time frame, we don't know, but obviously if she hands out any suspension at all, then the NFL has the right to appeal. We were joking earlier in the program that somebody, I don't know who, McNuggets, do you know who put the odds out on who's going to break this story? And Brad said he thinks that this thing could be leaked. I'm going to be stunned if this is leaked, because the circle of people that know what's coming is one, and she's already spoken out about leaks.
Well, I don't think it's her. I think it's as soon as she tells someone will leak it.
Thank you.
Yeah, but do you think
isn't that the way that it goes? As soon as Deshaun Watson's team knows, we knew what happened the first time.
So she's
when the grand jury had its answer and Adam Schefter had the news almost instantaneously.
So she will, well, yeah, I mean, at that point, I think the league has to be in concert with her, that as soon as she informs them of what their decision is, there's a release.
But hang on, the argument earlier ensued from if there was going to be a leak ahead of time that would prompt the NFL to settle.
Right.
Yeah,
because
and
the point I made is
no chance.
Until Judge Robinson comes out with the decision, there's still time for Deshaun and the NFL to come to some sort of settlement that removes her from the process. That was what the argument was over.
And I just don't see how there would be a leak before she makes her decision.
Yeah, it wasn't if someone's going to break it. It was is the way that she's leaning going to be leaked to the NFL that would then force them or sort of prompt them to then go back to the table.
Especially if it's not going to go their way.
I wonder, guys, though, does it, everything that we have heard about the proceedings, do you think that Deshaun Watson is feeling good about his chances right now? We go back to the fact that the NFL did not report any instances, or did not offer as evidence any instances of force or coercion or implied coercion. So does that make Deshaun Watson feel confident? Remember, Deshaun Watson has been very, very adamant for a long period of time now that he has not, what is the word that he used? That he has not disrespected any woman.
Right.
Yeah.
And again, obviously, I'm just repeating what he has said when I say that, but he's spoken multiple times about wanting to clear his name, clear his image, clear his reputation. We've all talked very frankly that ship has probably sailed, that the way that we are all wired, it's sort of, it's easy for all of us to paint with a brush sometimes, or to buy a narrative.
Right.
But knowing that Deshaun Watson feels so strongly about that, he may not want, even though he may not want to make a settlement. He may want to sort of have his day in court, if you will. Or the flip side to that is, if he kind of hit his point of exhaustion and did indeed settle with these women, or was indeed enlightened to where he could be culpable in some way. Again, I'm just saying if. I don't know any of this to be true, okay? So please don't think that I'm saying he is culpable or he's not culpable. Does he seem more willing to say, all right, whatever, I'm just tired of all of this. Let's make a deal and move on? I don't know the answer to that. I really, truly don't.
I just think that here, if somebody's really in his ear and really explaining not just the legalities, but the financial impact, at the end of the day, he gonna come to the same place, right? It's gonna cost them something, right? And so the ship has sailed on the public opinion, right? It's etched in stone. He ain't clearing nothing, right?
No,
But that
this
should
is
be,
always going to be.
but that should be irrelevant.
No,
That should be
but I'm saying,
irrelevant.
but to her point where she's talking about what he wants to do, where you want to be is not. I don't think the chance you getting there is ever going to get there.
Right.
Yeah,
So-
completely clearing his name. It's relevant to Deshaun because I agree with Aditi that I do think that if a settlement is reached for a guy who's been very adamant that he's done nothing wrong, I think the perception of him saying, okay, I'll take 4 games, you're not going to stand up and say, I'll take 4 games if you did nothing wrong. To Aditi's point, the facts are in.
But that happens in court, though.
It does happen.
all the
I know
time.
it happens,
All
but
the
it
time.
doesn't change the perception.
Right,
that
the perception, sure.
Some might be likely to
But
say, but I thought you did nothing
I'm sure
wrong.
the Texans could have fought some of those charges.
Right.
And they were just like,
But
Yeah, the Texans
ultimately,
wanted it to go
ultimately,
sometimes
guys,
that's-
and ultimately, Aditi, if it's true, now the report was, as you said, Aditi, earlier, that there was no force, no coercion, and no violence. Now, we don't know that there was no evidence of those things. That was the report. But if it's true that there's no evidence of force, no evidence of coercion, and no evidence of violence, well, what's he being punished for?
bringing the league into disrepute.
Again, that is you. I don't feel comfortable saying right now, so let's just think about the other piece of this, to Jay's point, and to what Brad is saying about whether you can clear your name or not. I think that sometimes you hit a point of exhaustion. Okay, and you just sit here and you say, I'm fighting for the truth. This is not right. This is not just. This is not fair. But you throw up your hands and you say, you know what? Winning is getting to start again. Winning is not fighting a battle that is just set against me in so many ways, whether it is actual evidence or it's narrative or it's perception or it's, because obviously we are all acknowledging that whether there was violence or not, Deshaun Watson is definitely guilty of some very bad judgment and of some very, very bad decisions at a baseline, at a minimum. So what is the one thing we know about sports fans? They love winning. And sports fans have short-term memories sometimes
100%.
about certain things when they are delivered what they want. We've talked about this before. For instance, Ben Roethlisberger was ostensibly going to be a pariah after everything he went through. You saw him just a season ago being sent off with, quite frankly, a hero's farewell in Pittsburgh. I've never seen anything like that, where 65,000 people were absolutely thanking and applauding and cheering. And I mean, this is the same guy that got into a dicey motorcycle accident. This is the same guy whose teammates called him boorish. This is the same guy who was twice accused of rape by women. This is the same guy that was suspended by the NFL for 6 games for violating its personal conduct penalty. And yes, it was reduced to 4, but all of that is sort of pushed into the past. I mean, I can tell you from my personal experience, people in Pittsburgh got so angry at me for years. Anytime I said anything that was even remotely perceived as mildly negative about Ben Roethlisberger, and it would have nothing to do with anything but the way that he played on the field, and still I would be attacked. That's because sports fans love the people that deliver them championships.
Well, Bull lived
and
that
so
with the
Deshaun
Cubs.
Watson might be sitting here and saying, the quickest way that I get to have something different attached to my name is by putting this behind me and moving forward and playing.
That's right.
And
so does he drag this out for another year fighting, or does he just say, okay, let's just get it over with and let's move forward?
Because Didi, sometimes in life you can win, but you can lose at the same time, right? So his version of winning may be like, I won the thing, I cleared myself, but you still lost, right? There's
nobody's going to walk away with this with an absolute clear-cut victory.
That's done.
If he
I
plays,
think everybody
that's done.
loses. It's a degree of how much you lose, and if he comes back and plays well, I think the short-term loss is far overshadowed by the game.
Big time.
But Aditi, to your point, I don't even want to think about what happens if he's cleared and he comes back and plays poorly. And under his leadership, the Browns are 2-6, because then a whole lot of people that we're willing to overlook whatever transgressions may or may not have occurred, suddenly the people that aren't okay with that are going to be drowning out the people who were okay with that. If he doesn't ultimately win.
And it's true because you know what we're forgetting in all this? It's been a long time since we've seen Deshaun Watson play. A year off didn't serve Le'Veon Bell well. And obviously different positions, different times, different situations. But we haven't seen him. And I actually had this conversation with an NFL general manager this weekend. We were talking about a variety of different things and eventually came around to Deshaun Watson. And he told me it's been his opinion for a long time that Deshaun Watson is overrated. Now, I can tell you this. I know the Cleveland Browns think that he's a top 5 quarterback. And many months ago, I asked a member of the Browns organization, why blow up everything with Baker Mayfield when Kevin Stefanski was clearly comfortable with him? Why chase a guy who seemingly had baggage, regardless of what that baggage actually is? It's not, you're not trading for Joe Burrow. You're trading for somebody that is carrying some baggage. And the response I got from the member of the Browns organization was, how often does a top 5 quarterback who's had demonstrated success in the league as a top 5 quarterback become available?
Yeah.
But then on the flip side, I just spoke to a GM this weekend who said he thinks Deshaun Watson is overrated.
Well, I'd fire that GM, Aditi. That GM should be fired. He's
Fire
an
the
idiot.
He
GM.
clearly cannot disagree
Please
with
tell
that.
that guy I think he's an idiot. He should read my shirt.
All right.
So this GM, I know you're not going to tell us his name, but he's a respected GM who's had success in the league, or he's a new GM that really doesn't have a track record? So yes, he is respected with success.
Yes, definitely. But again, let's remember, there was just a poll about, for instance, Lamar Jackson. And there are a lot of people who don't think that he is a elite athlete in this league, an elite quarterback, and the guy won an MVP. Okay,
I don't
so
think he's
like
an elite
that's the nature of
Everybody
the game.
wasn't sold on Stafford.
Exactly.
Right?
This is the nature.
They're like, what is
You
LA
are
doing?
so right. People were not sold on Stafford. He wins a Super Bowl, and all of a sudden there's Hall of Fame talk. That's the nature of this game. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
AT&T commercials.
I don't think Lamar's elite. I think he's very good, but he's not elite, and I don't think Stafford's a Hall of Famer, for the record.
Okay.
Anybody?
Yeah, Stafford. I don't know that we'll know on Stafford because he played so many years with a team that was just trash. But we were talking at the start of the show, a very heated discussion, Aditi.
It was
about
a
this.
brawl.
It was a brawl. Everything happened but hands being thrown. And basically, the discussion started before the show when Jason sort of touched on a vein like, do the Browns still do this deal if they know that Deshaun's going to get even half a year? I think
it was a full year.
a full year.
Full year.
Okay. So do they still make the trade if they know he's going to get a full year? And if so, are you still giving him all of that money guaranteed and still parting ways with all of those draft picks? And
No, I don't think so. I don't think so at all.
Thank
The
you.
Browns are built to win now. The Browns are built to win now. There's money to win now. The way the roster is constructed, this is not a club right now that might have a year or two of growing pains and then be poised to win. This is a team that is built to win right now. You're not sacrificing all of that if you think this quarterback is not available to you right now.
But in the end, it doesn't matter because he gives them a better chance to win a Super Bowl over the next 5 years.
And I would say this.
It doesn't matter if
But
he
you would have
wins.
given up a little less.
Well,
Okay, fine.
To that point, I disagree somewhat because the way the contract is structured, somebody thought about something, right? They didn't think it was a clean set. They would have paid him his full money this year.
Facts.
Right? So somebody thought about something.
Somebody somewhere.
Aditi, here's the point I made. Go ahead.
No, the only thing I would say back to Brad is that there was a lot of talk about the way that the contract was structured and how there was almost no money in the first year salary. So if he is suspended, he's barely giving money back. I've actually talked to a contract guy on another team who said this is fairly common. The Browns have done this with other players, and there are other teams that do indeed structure contracts this way. So it certainly raised eyebrows, and justifiably so. But it's not.
Somebody had to think about it. Right? It wasn't like nobody thought about that. It was an option out
There
there.
was a signing bonus, right, Aditi?
Yeah.
Yes, I think there was a large one, right? Gosh, Mikey, why don't you tell me to be more prepared.
No, there was a
This
sign.
this whole conversation started.
D, we've been
yeah,
winging it. We've been winging it the whole day, baby girl.
No,
We've
no,
been
no,
I'm
winging it the
losing,
whole
my,
day.
I'm losing my mind here.
Aditi, I
Baker
asked you-
Mayfield is an average quarterback.
Not the topic,
And
Bull.
Deshaun Watson's an excellent
That-
quarterback.
Bull, that's
What's
not
the
the topic.
discussion?
That- Wait,
What's the
let's
problem
let
here?
Jason get his point.
Aditi,
Jason
And I'm
was
being
trying
complimentary to
That's
Baker
not the
calling him
topic.
average.
Let's
He's
let
the
Jason
most
get his point in
turnover-prone
here.
quarterback in the league.
Aditi,
Not
here's,
the topic.
Aditi,
Jeez.
here's the point I made. If the Browns were not concerned about a year suspension, they would not have waited for the grand jury to come back. They would have pursued this like Miami did,
Right.
well ahead of time. The Browns were waiting on the grand jury to return a no bill so that they knew the commissioner's exempt list was off the table.
How do we know they weren't
before
pursuing
they
it, Jason?
pursued this deal? If there was any chance of that, they were not in on this. That's what tells me this is a bad deal. If he's out for the entire year, they would not make the same deal if he's out for the entire year.
But,
If they knew he was
but
going to do this
ultimately,
the entire
if they
year.
win
Agreed.
down the line, it's not a bad deal. You
Well,
can't
if they-
judge the
if
deal
they
now.
win a Super Bowl, it's
Yeah.
not a bad deal. It's
Yeah,
not a bad deal.
very simple.
Yeah, win a Super Bowl, it's not
Yeah.
a bad
Well,
deal.
but
we don't
this is the
we don't
whole,
know
again,
yet.
this is the thing with the NFL. This is like labeling a draft pick. You can't label a draft pick
No, but
for at
Aditi,
least
would
3
you agree?
years.
Would you agree though? I think it's similar to what the Rams did. The Rams went all in and they got their ring. Now they know that the future is going to be tough. They know that because of what they had to give up to get their missing piece. So I think history will judge this Rams trade as it worked. They got what they
Right.
wanted. I think that the equivalency is this trade with the Browns. If they win a Super Bowl, for me, it worked.
Yeah, but
it was worth all of it.
But I say-
even the waiting and the uncertainty
Well,
on what
and
his
that what
future is.
was the shirt? Wasn't Les Snead wearing a shirt like poking fun at the questions about all his draft picks?
F them
Like,
picks.
was
F
it
People are
Yeah.
embarrassed.
F them picks.
The obsession over draft picks is a flat-out
But they
freaking
won.
embarrassment.
But
So
I-
now
but-
he doesn't
embarrassment.
care.
No, but you're
Right.
forgetting
You know?
that they added 2 critical pieces during the season.
Yeah.
No, I know they did, but the ultimate
So
the
that would
ultimate
tell you,
move is,
even if they got Stafford, right? They were
still
still
needed work.
short.
right, but they won the Super Bowl. So
Yeah,
I mean,
but they-
that-
but they
what
went and
people
got-
will
they
remember
went out-
is
But you could have Odell and Jared Goff, and you're not winning that Super
No,
Bowl.
you're not winning
But
that
I'm saying
Super
here,
Bowl.
when they got Stafford here, they were still short. So they said, Beckham got you. And then they went and got linebacker from Denver.
You're right.
Von Miller.
You're absolutely right. But to your point, they can make all those moves that they want. If they don't, the move was Goff.
And Jay, sorry, but the quarterback that moved on from won a hell of a lot more than one playoff game for the Rams.
Ain't that the
he
truth?
took
Super
them to
Bowl.
the
He
did.
Super Bowl.
Yeah,
and they said he's not good enough. We have to do better.
No,
right.
listen, you're right. And when the Rams made that trade,
Mm-hmm.
I was fine with it because I watched the Rams and I said, that's all they need. That's it. That's all they need. And by bringing Goff in, you're not just you're bringing in a guy that has a long history in the league.
What are you saying, Stafford
of playing
was
with a really bad team, or Stafford, I mean. By bringing Stafford in, to me, I thought at the time, I know it's a lot to give up, but I like their chances of winning.
And Deshaun's better than Stafford.
But you were saying Stafford was all they needed?
Deshaun's better than Stafford.
Because
I'm not ready to go
Because
there.
it couldn't have been all they needed because they had to get 2 more pieces.
No, but to Jason's point again, if you don't get Stafford,
It doesn't matter.
doesn't
Right,
matter.
right.
You're not
That's
even
true.
making the move for
Yeah.
Beckham. If it's not
That's true.
Goff,
I'll give you that.
you're not
Hey,
even.
hey.
And Jimmy G did the same thing and the Niners made the same decision.
I'll go back to what Brad
He's not
said.
going to get the guy.
I'll go back to Brad said. I'm the youngest dude here. I'm tired. And I'm tired.
It's all about winning.
I'm tired of watching other
I'm
people.
the oldest dude here, and
So-
second oldest dude here, and I'm even more tired,
Jay,
bro.
Jay, here's
Guys,
what I
guys,
understand.
guys. I just want to put this picture up one more time because
Yeah.
Aditi has to run. Let's
yeah.
just laugh. Aditi, I'm sorry, but this is the best picture we've ever shown on UCSS. You have 30 seconds to defend yourself, and then you could go do what
What
you
does she
got
have
to
to
do,
defend
Aditi.
herself for? She's
It's
just straight.
frozen. I have no idea what picture you have up. I don't have return anymore.
It froze on you? It's the picture of you on
Yeah.
the chair. The picture of you on the chair.
Oh. Hey, look, I'm doing my best. I will always go the extra mile. That's what that picture says.
Well, your daughter is very tall. She's very tall. Yeah. She's a monster
Look
right
at how
now.
grumpy she looks. She's like, all right, Mom, it's 9:30 at night. What exactly is going on here?
Yeah, look.
To me, you're the tallest one in that picture, Aditi.
Aw,
the
you're
chair.
the best, Jay.
Without the chair, you're the tallest one in that picture.
Thanks, Aditi.
Thank you so much.
Thank
we'll
you
talk,
for
we'll talk to you
having
very
me, guys.
soon.
See you,
We'll
Aditi.
talk to you soon.
Bye.